already created in every industry. So we've been exploring that, and now the boring part. Um, not boring, not at all. But
We
how
need it.
it
It's
has been,
necessary.
yeah, the necessary part. It will, I to me in my mind is boring only because there's absolutely no bad in it, right? But we are human and we tend to err on the side of evil, and I guess that needs some governance and it needs some guidelines and it needs to be risk assessed and it needs to be complied so that it doesn't go out of the norm. So we are going through some of these topics today and finalizing those next Thursday. Welcome.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Laura. Um, what do you think about that, Owen?
Well, I think that with any new or emergent technology, there are some challenges for adoption. And of course, this is something fairly new. Well, not I wouldn't say fairly new. I think it's something that people have been trying to achieve for the past decade, honestly. But the difference is there was a boom like 2 years ago when we had this technology called ChatGPT. Everyone saw the potential, right, that it could have for different processes at different places, and how it could change how we communicate. It could change how we do everyday task, right? But it's growing so fast and it's changing so fast that it's hard to adapt, right? So having a good understanding of how the technology works, and also having a good understanding of what are the risks associated with it, or having a good understanding of how to use these technologies, it's extremely important, because those are like how can I call it, like those are the bases that you need to understand, because you'll have to relearn probably everything in a year. There's gonna be new emerging technologies, but those things are not gonna change, right? Like the risk, they might be um, lower risk as as the technology matures. We are seeing more and more safeguards around AI, because people are becoming um,
Where?
aware, right? Exactly, of
Mm.
how to use it, how not to use it. Um, like for example, there was a company that recently, just last year, they probably let go like 700 employees, and this year they were like, hey, no, we need to get them back. Because they rely heavily on AI. They didn't see all the consequences that it could have. And so it's now they switch to a hybrid approach, where you can enhance your employees abilities instead of replacing. Honestly, I think that's the best approach, right?
Yeah, that is always the best approach. It's AI is a tool, right? And it needs to be at the arm's length of the human, and it needs to be tailored to that technician or to that the agent, to that operator, right? So now I think we're going to go into where um, into the future where everybody's kind of a terminal operator, right? You have a very specific role, um, and and to process the information that AI would needs you to validate and make sure that it's true. So you will start to be the source of truth for a lot of these things.
Exactly. So this is what we want to talk about today. How to have those, or how to be aware of those things,
Yeah.
to make sure that we adopt AI in the
Cheers to
correct
that.
way.
So that's EV DevTech's. That's the topic for EV DevTech's happy hour, our happy hour Techno Talk. So we're inviting everyone to bring their questions, help. You can bring us new tips, and if you've learned a new tips, let us know in the comments. Find the best tech solution for your business as well, right? If you have a question about something operationally for your business, or the best, or our opinion on what the best software is for whatever that management system is, right? Industry management system. Insert your industry name here, and then whatever that management system is, whether it's agency for the insurance, whether it's an ERP system for manufacturing, or a e-commerce system for, you know, we have opinions, right? I'm not saying, um, so yeah, we do a lot of that. One of the things that we do is, when a client comes to us and they're like, hey, what's the best X of this system of X, then if we know it, we'll give them our opinion if we've done that analysis recently. If we haven't done an analysis of those systems in that market, then we start one and we give them that recommendation, and we go from there. So yeah, let's talk tech. Our vision is to make the world a better place, one solution at a time. So last
So
time, go ahead, Laura.
yeah, so for those of you that have followed the growth cycle, we've done and our past week was all about the output and the quality of how you need to stream your operations in a way that this step by step is helping AI to get the most out of it, right? So we went through examples of banking, insurance, health, manufacturing, the public sector, and just like Ari just mentioned, we also had a little introduction of a software for home field service providers. Anyone that is struggling with scheduling, that still will not get the most out of AI would probably be interested in something like an operator that could assist with your calls when you're off in on the road or without any signal or just doing the job. So we know the challenges of each industry and just have a solution for that.
Absolutely. So this time we're going to talk about what to do with AI adoptions, what's the good about it, um, some things that AI can do, and those that it probably shouldn't do yet, or maybe
Mm.
never. Right? That's the conversation that's being had now. Um, and so, what is it not designed for? Kind of some best practices for AI integration, and then what are some of the issues in AI right now? Like what are some of the what's the next cutting edge, right? What are some of the problems that we're trying to solve now to make it to solve for the problems, that are in the industry? So how does, NIST is a very strong framework that everybody should be familiar with. They actually operate in a lot of the industries that everybody else is in, from the insurance world, they pretty much create a standard for all of the industries, um, whether it's construction and insurance, digital, financial sector, things like that. A lot of your three-letter agencies refer to, some of their standards in their, policies. So something very something to be very aware of, the NIST, and we'll talk about that, of what they're saying from the AI perspective. So the immediate benefits of AI adoption. Alvin, what have you seen with our clients, and some of the solutions you built for them? Like what are some of the benefits that they've seen?
Well, it obviously helps. It helps. There are so many different applications that we have built that you know,
That's a good problem
but
to have.
yeah, exactly. It's like we have integrated AI into so many different products and processes that it's a very
What's your favorite one so far?
the favorite one.
Time.
Well, I mean, yeah, time. It saves time. That's I think yeah, all the solutions that we implemented is to are to save time, right? To automate processes. That's like the common uh, denominator here, right? Um, Saving time, but it goes beyond that. Um, for example,
It
we've
also
built
kind of makes time
chatbots.
as well.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you clear out time that you can focus on the things that matter, well, it's not that the other things don't matter, right? But you can focus on growing your business, for example, which is, when you have busy work, it's kind of complicated to do unless you hired a bunch of people to do it, and and you know,
Then
but
it
if
gets
you like,
expensive.
it's expensive, exactly.
Your minions.
So, so your minions. So I guess that you can get the return over your investment a lot faster with AI. And like for example, we employed it on customer service for websites where they have like a chat assistant that knows about their products, and that helps boost sales. So it's immediately, you know, helping you make money, right? Because people like to have a fast answer to their questions, especially when they're talking about a product, right? And if you can have an assistant that's able to respond to those queries fast enough for the customer to be interested in your product, I think
And then
that's
also to be right, right? That
exactly
precision.
to be factual, to be right, make sure it understands your processes, and that it can guide your customers through the whole process. That's something that I think has had a lot of impact in our customers. But I also remember we've employed it like on the back end, like for accounting. Uh, we 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 have automated
Yeah, the
uh,
entire AP process, right? Like
exactly.
you get a vendor sends you an invoice. We use AI to see to scan the invoice, who's the vendor, go to the AP system, enter all the information, and create that payment, that payment receipt, and then it goes, that step right before the human hits the button to generate payment, right? We don't want to generate any payments using AI. We just want the AI to get everything pretty, everything set up, and then now you can just hit that generate button. So for sure,
Exactly. Yeah, we normally use AI for very specific purposes when we are automating processes.
yeah, we're objective.
Exactly. Because most of these things they can be programmatically, um, coded, but there are some things in the process that need a little bit of understanding, at least, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
reasoning, some
a little
logic,
bit,
some
exactly,
human logic.
some human logic in there, and that's where we use the AI. Like for example, if I have an invoice, and well, I already use AI to extract all the data from that invoice, right? Like the total, all that stuff. I already use AI on that process, but then I want to compare it to what I have on the AP system, right? That's where I would probably use AI as well, because I want to do a comparison, and it's sometimes there are some variables that can change, so they're not exactly the same. So that's where we want to use AI to do a small reasoning. We don't want to throw like a huge task to AI and just figure it out itself. Go ahead and do it. Even though there's agents that attempt to do that right now, that's like not very mature right now. This is,
Yeah,
I
it's too
wouldn't say
young.
it's a good approach yet. But yet, I guess those are the two things that we have.
Yeah, I know that in my experience, we've positioned a lot of leaders and directors and a lot of decision makers to be in the position to make decisions, right? And so we used AI to essentially create a control center of all of the data that that director needs to have processed and create a summarization of all that information to now be able to make a decision, right? Whether that's an underwriter, whether that's a lawyer, whether that's a doctor, whether that's those folks that need information to make a decision as to what's next, right? They're the ones that kind of point the 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 task as to which direction they're going to kick um, that right, whether it's right if it's a doctor, all the information to make a diagnosis, right? So which direction from a diagnosis perspective are we going to go, and what are the next steps for that? So that's really where we try to position AI to essentially as an assistant to these decision makers, to be able to make those decisions a lot faster. And then also to build innovative and better products. We leverage AI to make sure that what are we missing, right? As anybody that's built products or platforms before, you try to, it takes a lot of time to think of all of the user experience on the front end. And so what we've done is we've plugged in AI to answer for that what else of the experience. We know we know what we want to build. We know how we want to build it. We know what it needs to do. But what else? What are we missing from the user experience that adds value to the product? That makes that from a good product to a product that a wider market would use. All right. So here are some examples. So you can repetitive tasks. I always say, everyone, if you got to do it 3 times a day, it's time to automate. Streamline the workflows, optimize. AI can personalize customer interactions and experiences. Alvin was talking about our AI chatbots, and how we tailored that to the brands and the clients that we work with. So it speaks from your brand, from your trademark. Um, and so it's a very tailored AI to you, in your market, and how you want to be seen from that market. Um, right. So if we cost reduction as well, right, optimizing that resource allocation and improving operational efficiency, and so right, that's how AI can help make time, right? If we can reduce, if we can make things faster, and we can optimize things, and have even the things that we used to have do more, then that's a cost reduction, because you're now doing more. You're getting more value out of that system than it cost you before. We've already talked about decision making as to how that can work, and for some of these decision makers, and now, as essentially you can start making decisions in real time as the data is complete. So we have a complete data set. A new case comes onto your control center. The control center shows you that entire case, gives you all of the details that you care about, and you can yourself drill into those details, if the summary doesn't provide you um, enough, right? Some things are more nuanced than others, um, but that's where those you have that control center to be able to make that informed decision in real time. And then, like I mentioned, for innovative products, team, what do you guys think?
It was interesting to see how, like, all of we've been covering the same topic for this month, and a lot of the um intrinsicies, I think is the word, or details that go into AI, as to how to make real informed decisions in real time, is like improving. I mean, there are people that are working towards improving high reliability on AI, but there's still some work to do. And so, I mean, even though with all of this innovation is like really great, uh, we have benefits in adopting AI, but we also have to just be conscious about it. I think that after making this um, slide, I felt like that was the main conclusion for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it can go anywhere. We can plug AI into everything.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So,
What's
and
the what's this quote?
I I found this quote in a site that it's like a blog site of a lot of entrepreneurs just sharing knowledge about how AI is growing, and it's lesswrong.com. And so they are also integrated with this alignment forum of how AI is to be aligned into the ethical world, and what so that when I thought about what AI can do and shouldn't do, and I was looking for information, I found the blog, and I thought this is interesting. We're trying to make AI, think like us, and just like us, we make mistakes, right? Just like we make mistakes, AI will too. So the whole point of it is to do less mistakes in
Absolutely.
the future.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It,
What
it
was that
kind
site
of
again?
it kind of reminds me of that. I've seen this meme. Have you seen the movie I Robot
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
William?
Will
No,
Smith.
William. No, Will Smith. Yeah, William Smith.
Uh-huh.
That's probably his whole name, but okay. So basically, there is a scene with where Will Smith asks the robot, "Can you paint? Can you asking about his artistic?" And the response from the robot is, "Can you?" He was like, "Well, checkmate." You know what I mean? Like he was questioning the robot's abilities, and the robot responded like, "I don't know. Can you?" So that's yeah. It just reminded me of that.
Yeah, I have our architect. That's one of the questions he always asks back. Um, when I ask him like, "Hey, can we do this?" He's like, "Can you?" And it's he always gets me with that, and I was like, "Yes, you know what? I'm gonna figure out how I can, and then I'll come back to you to talk about it." um, and sometimes it annoys me because I'm like, I came here to ask you. I want the
If
answer
it's
fast,
possible.
if it's possible. Do you think it's possible from your experience? Um, and he throws me with that. I was like, it's probably possible from what I know. That's why I'm asking you. Like, is it? Do you think, from your perspective, it's possible? I think it's possible, but Do you think it's possible? Because if there's two witnesses that say it's possible, then it can be made, right? Um, so I like that. I want to know what was the website that you mentioned over here? What was it called?
Oh,
Where'd you get the
it's
quote?
called lesswrong.com.
Lesswrong.com.
Yeah, so they literally have like a with like a this is an about page,
Okay.
and so it introduces in what that there are a lot of subjects to be taught about AI and
Wow.
rationality, how to apply it,
This is
and
gonna be my new best friend. This is gonna be my new favorite
it's a
website.
it's a very great. I mean, I spend a lot of time just I wasn't really sure how to even comment and agree and be excited with everyone, because it just seems like a really great site to just be around.
I'm
And so
impressed.
they've also linked this site to Alignment Forum, which is another one in which a a lot of conversations are about the ethical transformation that AI is going through. So
Yeah,
I thought
right
that was
here.
great. The sites exist. There's so
Now you're not gonna
many.
see me for a couple of days. I got a lot of reading to do, Laura.
Yes, it's a very great site.
Wow. Yeah. No,
And it's all
I
like
enjoy it.
properly linked to either theory of information from other people that have done their research, and I don't know, it just seems like it's to me is like very well structured. I mean, whoever
Yeah.
thought about
No. No.
this
Right.
structure
Yeah.
is
That's
like, wow.
yeah. I'm always attracted to things that have great systems, and it does look like it has great. It was greatly engineered.
Hmm.
A great mind was behind the
Mm-hmm.
organization of that, or multiple great minds were behind the organization of that, and I'm impressed. That was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Another newsletter to add to my many lists of
Yeah,
newsletter.
I need to unsubscribe to a few too.
Yeah, I need to do a newsletter audit for myself for
Yeah.
sure. Some of them are still provide a lot of fruit, but the other ones have kind of waned.
Yep.
All right, so the road to wisdom. Well, it's plain and simple to express. And again, but less and less and less. That's literally
Yeah.
life. I
Fall
love it.
forward.
And then what's this post about Elon over here? Why are we bringing him into the mix?
I just honestly I thought
For
about it
cloud.
and it's just amazing that's
For
been 10
clout.
years. It's just been 10 years. That's
Yeah,
all.
yeah. I mean, so AI is nothing new.
Yeah.
It just hasn't been able to provide general common value, right? And so,
Yeah.
or the price of it was too high, right? Um, the
That
price to enter was too high, and so there wasn't accessibility to it from for more from a broader audience. But now it's open source. There's a lot of many heads going into it. There's a lot of research, a lot of money pouring into it, um, and I hope people are paying attention because it's the future.
yep.
And what he's saying here, potentially more dangerous than nukes. Absolutely, it's. I think AI is. We gotta we gotta pay attention. We definitely got to pay attention where it's used, how it's used, what it's being used for. Um, there's definitely a lot of auditing to be done here. All
Yep.
right, so
The this
I feel like we've talked about the do's and don'ts. Let's focus. I think
Yep.
we've talked mainly on the do's. Repetitive tasks, data analysis, instant response and issue resolution, fraud detection, improve customer experience. Automate some coding, um, and yes, it can do all of those things. If you need help on how to do it, you can contact us. I want to focus on the what it won't do. It gets its creativity from its data, and where does it get its data from the
Us.
humans, from
From
us.
us. From Reddit.
So from Reddit.
From Reddit. That's so
um,
So
funny.
right, so let's not rely on it for creativity and innovation, right? Because we are create it can help us enhance those thoughts and enhance those ideas for execution of those thoughts. But usually, most likely, the idea is going to come to you. You're the one that's going to prompt for that idea to be um, a task for AI.
Generated.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. You don't want it to run your life. I'm saying from an ethical making here, right? Do I need to ask it, hey, do I put my shoes on first or my sock on first? Maybe. I mean, if you require that level of guidance in your life and
Yeah.
you're really looking for a
But
second opinion in every decision that you do,
yeah, but that's
do it.
not rational. That's just that's not even ethical. It's like,
Yeah.
just
So that's where, like, do I hit this person? Do I rear end this person or not?
there you go.
Right. It will probably give you the right answer on
A
that one.
1,000 points for the old lady. Like
Oh,
that's just
it's
wrong.
the reinforcement learning here, right? Don't hit it for 500. Don't hit that person for 500 points.
Thank you. See, that it should have been like that in the video games.
Oh man, maybe Alvin, we should create that game where it's the game of
Yeah,
reinforcement learning.
yeah, I
we
remember
should.
like I don't know 6, 7 years ago, probably more than that. I think Google created an AI that resembled a human. Like it was a 3D character, right? With articulations and all that stuff. And the main objective is for this character to learn how to walk, and it was funny to see and like walking because it was very sloppy. But later on, they realized that it was more effective than how humans walk. So, and that was based on reinforcement. The the the, the character was falling, so it was learning from all that stuff. And it's just that when we say AI is very broad, there is multiple applications where you can use AI.
It's all algorithms, and that's what
Yeah,
all computers operate off of algorithms and
exactly.
inputs and calculates outputs. Like that's all we're doing is writing a bigger algorithm, a bigger equation with more inputs and more outputs.
Yeah. The only thing is that you just added the entire cell column or the entire sheet or two workbooks. Whatever it is, it's just like adding it.
Yeah, you're just doing more of whatever you're doing. Emotional intelligence. I always discuss about this because it's important from those decision makers, right? If we're talking about um, lawyers, doctors, um, like AI is going to enhance your decision making and be able to provide you more insights that will help your patient or your client or the person that you're defending. But it's really up to you to harness that emotional intelligence to be able to guide them through that experience that they're going with you, um, and that's very important. Emotional. So the things as humans that we will need to start focusing on is more emotional. So these are all the things that AI doesn't do that the human must do, right? Humans must be creative and innovative. Humans must do ethical decision making. Humans must provide emotional intelligence. The humans must secure national security, right? The human must apply the fundamentals of rights and public safety, right? So that is what we're going. I think that's the direction that as humanity we should be focusing more on because these are the things that we can't delegate to a robot, right? Um, so this is a perfect preamble of AI won't substitute your expertise or replace the emotional intelligence needed in a task, nor should it ever have full autonomy, right? Um, so we'll, we'll see. Or maybe it should have full autonomy, but maybe we need to really, really have a lot of data, and it should have a switch behind its head, a big old switch on its chest where we can easily throw a rock and turn it off. You know?
Oh, I have a meme for that. I need to share it with you so that you can maybe open it over there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice one. It's really a AI ranting. And
Yeah,
so just a second, please just bear with
it's a
me.
Laura,
It's no, it's
AI Laura.
no. No, it's not a little robot. No. No, 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 no.
You're not a
I'll
little
send it to
robot
you.
either.
No, yeah, it's not it is a little robot. I'm joking. So here,
Let me see.
I'm gonna send it to you. You need to open that because you just said the exact same the words that describe this meme. Like
Let's turn
let's
on
turn.
our artificial. Go ahead, you can read it. It's your meme. Read it. I want to read it from your perspective.
Let's turn on our artificial intelligence book and see if it has anything intelligent to tell us. So the AI racing to be the first to create artificial intelligence without foresight into its application seems moronic and extremely dangerous, and most of all, oh.
They talk
That
too
is so
much.
funny. Exactly. Yep. I don't have enough button. I'm sorry, Eric.
maybe we built it. Maybe we need to build another version. We don't want this version of it. We want the next one.
Okay. That seems
Awesome.
so funny.
No, that was awesome. I love that. So what do we need to do to integrate AI into our everyday, right? Um, Definitely upskilling employees to work alongside AI, whether that's through training programs or through workshops. That's where, if you need some help, assistance in what do I need training, how do I need training, what types of workshops, um, you can get in contact with us and we can start helping you, point you in the right direction. Or we have a training program around AI in which we can educate you on how to use AI and we'll create essentially an AI strategy for you or your business. Building trust and acceptance. Yep. We need to understand what is AI's role for us as an individual or for our department or for our organization, right? So there's layers of where AI can be interjected, and um, that needs to be clear. Um, and then from there is just making sure that it's responsible, building responsible AI, um, that is ethical, that it's following regulations. And so, yeah, guys, contact if you guys need anything, any help integrating AI, you can email us at info at ebdevtech, and we'll be happy to see where you're at in your journey.
Yeah, and also I think if you have an idea or you already identify that a process need improvement, then reaching out to us would be a good idea because maybe you're not aware that's something that you can solve with AI. So it's not only if you already know you want to integrate AI, if you feel like there is something that needs improvement and that needs automation, we can find a way to use AI to fix those or to improve those or to enhance your employees with the use of these tools too.
Yeah, and if you just want us to give you an idea of how you can use it for your specific industry, reach out to us as well, and we'll we'll look at underneath the hood and we'll say, hey, here's where you can plug it in, and here's why you would want to, and here's the value of doing that. We're a bunch of nerds. You'll hear me say that a lot, and so we'll we'll tell you if it makes sense, and then we'll also quote it, right? What's the level of effort it would take to implement AI? Um, and usually it's not the problem of, hey, can I integrate it? And then it turns into a problem of, is it worth the effort? Is the value worth it at that time? So we're definitely here to help um, at any way we can. Me, I'm holding it back.
What are the challenges? My goodness.
Us, the humans, are the challenges. We're in the way. These are
Turn it
all
off. Turn it off.
turn it off. Right. So obviously, this is a cutting edge technology, right? So of it being cutting edge, it's still being built, it's still being defined, it's still in process, right? It's still a work in process. Um, so that technical complexity, as you know, the dust hasn't settled yet, so we don't know what's the end all be all on the architecture that is best to building AI. We also the importance of data, right? We need a lot of data, and we're starting to realize that, um, man, our data sucks. And so that quality of
You know
that data
what?
is really important.
Maybe what's the best way to tell the client that
I tell them, honestly, you have you. The good thing is that you have data. that's how you
The real,
that's how you start that conversation. It's like the conversation starter for
the
that is,
real deal.
yeah, you have data, so we have something to work with. But we need to improve from here. So we need to start improving the data capture processes. We got to start looking at to what do we need to do to enhance the quality of that data, and what are the missing key, what are some key missing points that are missing to make that from just data to data that's providing value, right? So that's measured. We can, and that's all measurable. So these are all actionable things. Governance, right? Think governance is changing all the time. Not only, well, it's not changing all the time. It's being defined. In Europe, there are some regulations that have been put into place. Um, there are there. I mean, what I've meant is that regulation here in the states is changing. It's like we don't know. There really isn't something set in stone. Right, the Biden administration put in a executive order on AI, and then the next administration, the Trump administration, um, um, revoked it. And so, what do we know about that? How do we navigate that? And what is, so there isn't one, it's not set in stone, right? We don't know, the rules to play the game are evolving and changing over time, and so it doesn't make a lot of sense to make something that's concrete with the AI. But what you need to make is something that is adaptable and flexible, so that you can get the value of AI, but you don't have to make your platform so rigid, um, as to it's a limiter to when the regulation changes. Now you got to spend a lot of money to change the entire platform. So that's something that we take into consideration when we're building and architecting our platforms. And at the end of the day, they're all wrap. It's all a wrapper of data.
I I wanted to highlight one interesting fact that I found from an since you mentioned Europe, there was a recent summit done in Paris about AI regulation and every initiative that at a global scale it's happening. And I found MIT to be doing these initiative for creating a risk repository of AI and the use of it. And they have 365 risk categories in AI in society. Like, I thought, wow. I mean, we have been so we've used it for good and bad because we have, but there are people over there just looking at this intrinsic, like looking in detail as to where it is the risk is going. And I mean, I don't think that we've changed in the past 50 years. We've always been dangerous to our own race and gender and et cetera, right? We've always been a threat to ourselves. But the fact that it's been now categorized and put into public dominion to create a description in a high level way, I thought, wow, this is amazing. There are just so many initiatives. I can already say we've thought about it in a good way. It's not like we haven't.
Yeah, no, it's
So,
been. I mean, as you can see, it's been thought about for
yeah,
over
super.
10 years. Actually, I think artificial intelligence has been a conversation in the science field for since, I mean, the moment we had computers, right? I mean, even
Yeah.
before that, right? The Jetson, I forget what's the robot's name, like,
Yeah.
right? Like, that's an example of AI. We used to think of them as robots, right? Like, oh, like a humanoid robot, and now we're thinking of them in more objective perspective now.
Yep. Yeah.
So next is cost, right? Um, Actually, the cost might be a it depends on where what you think is high cost. Um, we've been able to build products that are actually pretty low cost when it comes to once it's in production and live, right? And so it just depends on who, I guess, who you have quoting you, right? That's the high cost. Are they taking advantage that there is a talent shortage and now that rate is really expensive? Um, you know, um, so that's kind of, if you want to know how much it's going to take to build something, everything we do is in magnitude of hours, and then the cost is just a negotiation at that point, right? What 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 is it going to take to actually build that? And then sometimes what we do, like if we see that there's a value there, then we're more than happy to help on the cost side to build it because we see the value of what we're building, that it can not only help that client, but it also adds to our we've done it.
Yep.
Ethics is always going to be very important. Um, a lot of employee resistance, right? Fear of losing their jobs, things like that. I would say if you are an employee in this fear category, you need to start using it, right? Open up an account of your favorite AI large language model or state of the art model today, and start using it. Start using it. Start being the one that helps build the processes for your AI, for your role, the AI processes for your role, um, and and that's how you start being a leader, right? And so now you will be the leader of that AI because you built that. It's going to be built to your specifications and your role, and you're going to be the owner. You're going to be the one in the driver's seat for using that AI tool. Um, Bias and fairness, we'll talk about that later. We are, ethical concerns is completely something that everyone should be aware of. Whether, is it going to do the right thing? Is it going to provide you the right result? All right, ethics, governance. Do you have the guardrails, right, of how AI should operate? Do you have a clear strategy on here's what it should do and here's what it shouldn't do, and draw the line? You need some guidelines, you need some standards, you need some policies, because that's where your security is going to go. You need to start understanding new cybersecurity um, things that are happening now in the cyber world, like AI injection, right? So you have a proprietary, let's say you have a proprietary chatbot that's in the medical field that has patients' personal identifiable information. Well, if a user can get access to that instruction set for the AI, then then it can ask for that PII information, right? And it can inject. It's that AI prompt injection. So we need to work on that. What are you guys laughing at over there? Am I talking too much?
Nothing, nothing.
I want to laugh too.
We,
What's
we
the
No,
were.
meme?
sending me.
What's the meme? What's the meme? I want to see the meme.
uh, no, it's not a meme.
I'm
It's a
sorry. I
hit.
think I made the slide you know too
No,
long. It's
it's
a
good because these are all things that we should take in consideration for implementing AI. I do want to say something important about cost because I think that's like one of the main deterrents uh, when people want to implement it, and it's that, like for example, when we started doing this, Eric, like about a year and a half ago, when we started implementing AI into our solutions, AI was, I don't know, probably like 5 or 6 times um, pricier, but it's getting considerably affordable, and that's thanks to open source initiatives that are available out there. um, there's a lot more competition. Of course, there is a bunch of money that was dumped into developing these systems and these like you said, the state of the art LLMs and these state of the art content generation AIs.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
there's state of the art everything nowadays.
it's
SEO, PPC, everything, marketing.
e- everything, and you get like a new model every month or every quarter, basically. So that cheapens. I don't know if that's even a word. Cheapens. uh, that's probably not.
Yeah, that's
But
that's that's where, like, contact us. We do all our strategies pretty much for free. So it depends on what it is, right? If we need to do an entire market analysis, but for the most part, we don't charge you to learn what it's going to take to build it, right? And
exactly,
we're really precise as to our architecture methodologies and how we're going to build that application. So we'll listen to you. We'll listen to your idea of how you want to implement AI, and then we're going to show you what it's truly going to cost to build it. You build your idea and the value, right? And I'll be one of the first people to say, like, why do you want us to build it? Why isn't there already a product out there, right? And then that's where that vendor selection matrix come into play, as to, look, there's already 5 players in this game that are already building the product that we would build. That we actually scrutinize software to, okay, would we build this, right? And we only partner with those software that we ourselves like, that are aligns best with how we would build those applications, because we don't want to create more competition. We just want to enhance what's already been done.
exactly. And sometimes we encounter that they already have a product that does that for them, but they don't know. Like for
Yeah,
example, with Google Workspace, like what you're paying for Calendly, it's already built in on Google Workspace. Like,
yeah.
or you're paying ChatGPT, you already got Gemini with your Google Workspace. Um, and so on and so forth. So sometimes we do get a lot of ideas, but yeah, we're very objective, like Eric said, right?
Yeah, I
So
think we had an episode on building that AI Google Calendar app, and now Google offers it for free.
exactly,
So we completely removed that project from our horizons because it's already been done. It's already integrated into the tool, um, and all we would do is just add more competition to it, which we don't see what our difference is going to be. We're doing the same thing at the end of the day.
exactly.
All right. So what to do about it, man? There's this really big article, article. What would we call it? Article regulation,
Is
publication. It's
that
a publication.
it's a
It's a publication.
publication? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's from the National Institute of Standards and Technology. Laura, did you read all of it? Like, how much of did you pass it? Just pass it through AI and
Laura's like,
summarize this.
No, I did this LM exercise for some summarization. There were some interesting policies to implement that you would not think of them unless you're reading the document because they've laid out. This is a 64 pages document, so I couldn't really do it
Oh, is only
between
64
Thursday
page? That's not too
and
bad. That's not too bad.
actually, because I combined it with this other, I don't remember
I
now,
remember
but
this other
it,
regulation that was it was like
it
almost a
wait a
book.
minute. Yeah, it's 64 pages. But the thing is that it does have several macro level like the same, but it has some really good policies that anyone in their business could implement when using, and you just have there, like a guideline. It's a really nice document.
Absolutely, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've actually read the documentation. It goes through legal and ethical safeguards. It goes through all of these things that are listed through here. A lot of it aligns with where I see this going, where AI is going to go. Um, I do recommend. I mean, it's kind of a boring read. It's
It's
not. It's not one
very
of.
wordy.
Yeah, yeah. It's. It feels like it came from ChatGPT. Right. It feels like it was mouthy. But it has a lot of good information, a lot of good details that are very important to your strategy, and it's also free and it's a foundational that you can apply to your organization, right?
Hmm.
Um, and then also you have someone, if you're a small business and you start abiding by these standards, then once you get large enough where you can no longer be the IT person and the owner at the same time, well, then those standards are going to be easier for if you have a good technologist or a CTO that they'll come and pick up where you left off with those standards. So it's very good policy here. So, how does NIST promote trustworthy AI development? How does it do it? So, it makes you sure that your AI is compliant, right?
Hmm.
It doesn't tell you, it tells you how to measure the AI's risk, but it doesn't tell you what your AI risks are because every AI risk is specific to your
To
business.
development. Hmm.
Exactly, and to the
Hmm.
development of that software. Um, So who's responsible when AI fails?
The
Eric.
human.
The
The human.
You.
human, yeah. AI is just a tool.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's what I tell. That's what we tell all of our owners.
We've
Is
been
like,
saying that.
yeah, you're ultimately, you're the human is going to be always accountable. There's no excuses, right? So which AI risks require immediate action, right? So these are the things that your architecture should be already like thinking about if you affect these things, especially if you're in the chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear industries. You have a higher responsibility than I would say most. Um, Obviously, we always care about the human safety risks. There's that information integrity, right? A lot of our clients that we're looking at, well, hey, why um, my I want to build AI, and then the first thing we look at is their data. Well, your data sucks, so we need to improve the integrity of that data. Um, and so data privacy risks. Um, yeah, it's it's important, right? The AI injection is important. Your PII is important. That's who you are. Making sure that if we do provide that to AI, that it's not going to provide any leaks of that information, anything, right? That your data is secure. This is probably the most important conversation being had in AI. It happens frequently and it's tested on this all the time is high bias and homogenization. um, it's not going to be a very creative or a very good assistant if it's completely one-sided, right? If it has a very specific use case where it needs to be one-sided, absolutely. But um, if it needs to infer all of the data, all of the population, a wider audience, then that's where bias and homogenization needs to be taken into consideration as a risk for that AI project. And we need to make sure that um, the AI is supportive of all of the audience, of all of its users, and not providing um, just single user information. And that's the fun stuff that we have to deal with. How do we do that, right? Like how do we make sure that if we have 50,000 users, that the AI is a personal assistant to that one, right? And so that's something that we can help with. I'm ready to close my eyes, not close my thoughts. um, yeah, right. You want to build something that you can trust, that is helpful, that has the characteristics that you want to embody in your organization, your policies. Um, and you want to make sure that everybody around the tool um, are critical thinkers, right? That have a safety first mindset, um, that are able to raise their hand when AI does something risky, right? That has a potential to impact the organization, right? That's what is needed. What do you guys think?
Um, I thought I was amazed by every lecture and information that there's out there available to study when you're developing this tool. And it just feels like we have a lot of groundbreaking experience. And I mean, we don't really need to get complicated when you are in a very small business at all. But it's just about thinking, about the vision of your. There are some that are, like from the intention level. There are some that are very critical, and you still need to read these documents to go through that and conclude that you would need that in your business. So I mean, all of that is just, it's studying and learning about your business, and just be proactive about it. And one of the things that were very conclusive in every lecture that I or site that I was in was about the willingness to go and find this information too.
That's where we come in,
I was.
right?
So you literally need, if you're not a specialist on information technology development and software, you need to be intentional and be, like, real with your own self and say, you know what, I should really talk to people that know about this and just, you know, no.
Yeah, Alvin and I were, we I think we were all talking about this right before the meeting. Is that, man, we've gone so deep into this AI the whole technology AI piece, that we're now walking back from it for the past couple of years. That we're like, there's so many businesses that aren't ready. We start. It's like we were in a cave, learning and experiencing and researching all of this stuff, and now we're going out of the cave and going into town, and we're like, nobody really knows this stuff. Like, they know about it, but it's like, how, right? And so it's
It
a good,
takes
I
a
guess
team.
it takes a team, and
Hmm.
it's a good position to be in. But now we have a higher responsibility of educating, and making sure that there's more understanding of how this is going to work. And, well, there's a lot of work to do to get it where we want it to be. um, and we're here to help anybody um, that wants to join that journey, that AI journey, to move forward. Anybody have a good groove voice?
Well, I don't know how it is in English. Only
How is it in
Spanish.
Spanish?
Can't remember quite well.
Develop a powerful AI plan.
Probably something
Teach
like
it
that.
to write code. Have the AI replace you developer. Wait,
And then
what?
he's like,
Wait,
"What?"
what? Wait, what?
I
Um,
was seeing a meme about that the other day. It wasn't like a meme. It was more like a Reddit thread, and people were like, "I'm not concerned about AI replacing me. They're training on my GitHub repository, so they keep training on my bugs. They're gonna produce bugs only. So it's like I'm gonna
Yeah,
keep pushing."
yeah. We actually won. Actually won a client because of that. They used an AI coding platform to start building their prototype. Um, and very quickly, where they're like, "I'm done with this. Can you guys help?" It's just not there yet, right? AI, it doesn't understand. It probably knows how to code, but it doesn't know where that code's going to run, how that code's going to run, what network does it need to run on. So these are the things that we're crawling. Maybe in a couple more years, we'll have pipelines that will be able to integrate all of these things together. But it's being built right now, and right now, the only thing that matters is, can it code good? And the answer is, depends on what it is right now, right? But once we once we get to a more solid state, and there's platforms that do handle the entire deployment of that as well. Um,
Yeah, I think that as long as you know the whole development process, you can piece it into smaller tasks. You will be, yes, you can definitely use AI to build a whole product because you already know what's supposed to do. Okay, so on this specific screen, I want to do this and this and this. But you have to, piece it because you're just telling create a Twitter clone.
Mhm.
It's gonna give you something that's probably not gonna be useful. But exactly, it will not
Mhm.
replace critical thinking. Yeah.
Mhm.
no, stop it. I don't want to draw anymore. There we go. So yeah,
Okay, so
guys,
maybe
we
maybe
made it to
next
the end.
session we do something else, right?
Yeah, probably this is subject to change. I think we talked about this today.
Yes, I thought it was an interesting subject to kind of like lay it out there and make it, effectively into the course that we're trying to make. But it doesn't. We don't need to get you anybody expert on this because the internet can already make you. So I think we'll think about something else to do in the next section.
Yeah, because the governance really, oh, the only thing that matters from governance is your industry. So unless we're going to talk about all the industries, or we're going to talk,
Mm-hmm.
and the federal level hasn't been fully defined, and it's always changing.
Yep.
So yeah, and then um, the week after that, we're talking about AI-driven solutions for business logic and challenges.
More AI.
All right, guys. Well, this is the end. I hope you've enjoyed this happy hour techno talk with EV DevTech. If you have any questions, please send it to us. Um, we hope you learned something new. If you did, please let us know what it is in the comments. Um, let us know what you think about our platform. Let us know anything that we can do better. We're always um, improving. We're always trying to improve. Um, we You are our reward. Your comments are our reward, that provides us that reinforcement learning. So please, give us your feedback, um, and that's how we gauge whether we're doing a good job for you guys or not, and how we improve. If you need us for anything, you can contact us at info@evdevtech.com, or visit our website at evdevtech.com. And then our phone number is on the screen, 832-937-9622. Thank you guys so much, and take care.
Thank you, everyone.
Se caga el hombre, se caga el
Ya me voy.
hombre.
Yo estoy quedando hace como 15 minutos.